Shrimps on shrimp. Those who remained, continued the training, including me, then be more careful, until 9 o'clock at night. When the command whistle had just rung up, there was absolutely no one daring to go out. Now I am a freshman, so much stuff. Was given a month military leave in a regular military camp. I'm glad, because at last I learned how to be a soldier. I eagerly boarded the bus that I thought was the destiny of my life. It was the car that made me fall into the extreme, causing me to suffer so many years, that until now I was a successful man. Recalling those years without feeling cold or frightened. A cold countdown. I and my friends, after a grueling day of training, were huddled up in needy single beds. On the bed outside, the blankets and pillows are very thin out, there is nothing. The Floods heard each other tell the story of Nguyen Ngoc Ngan, the cold night, the noise that the commander in the bottom feel annoyed so many have mentioned several times. Both cold, while listening to ghosts, and scared, the others to dispel the cold, then slurped collapsed noodles. At that time the cold season has just passed, still not completely melted. My head is empty, go somewhere, just a backpack by your side, while your friends, which clothes do any blanket, flower hanger, etc. It was cold, I brought along to train this military raid, nothing but clothes, blankets, not from the cranky lips, but groaning. If you hear ghost stories, fear can cover the blanket, and I do not have blankets cover. Pointing wings to the eyes, wearing a cool uniform to keep cool, just heard the shaking, do not know whether I shiver because of the cold, or shivering because the other story's too scary. The horrible sounds and the loudspeaker, plus the lonely outside scene, the wind whizzing through the door, made me feel much more scared. Suddenly, I saw a message jumping over the eucalyptus trees in the distance. My place is located on the second floor bunk bed, where there is a small, glass-free ventilation window, which can be easily viewed outside. Those who lay in the bunk beds were just listening to the blankets, outside the wind, and they did not dare to look outside, only I was trying to look out. Unbelievably the only one to see this. I swallowed hard, my head just shook myself, it must have shaken the branches, plus my eyes in the night so bad to see so only. I then determined to close my ears, trying to get into sleep. Tomorrow. I heard them whisper, last night there was a dead man, somehow hanging on the right eucalyptus tree. Startled, I looked up at the tree they tell. Coincidentally, the tree is the tree that I saw last night, saw the ball swinging. My back was sweaty, although it was very cold. The commander announced that day for us to take a day off to investigate the matter. The dead was none other than one of the students who practiced us. This made many blue faces. Some children, despite all, decided to take this military round, go home to be. Those who remained, continued the training, including me, then be more careful, until 9 o'clock at night. When the command whistle had just rung up, there was absolutely no one daring to go out. I am curious capital, things are not clear, even more insecure. Flood, you are afraid, but still cannot cope with hearing the ghost of his uncle. Counting that day, I continued to watching over the time yesterday when I saw the glittering balloon that popped up, unblinking, to see if the scene would appear again or not. The wind was still humming, the night was still so cold, so long I was about to let go back to bed early. Right when I was about to miss, the same shade appeared the next time. I rolled my eyes hard. The mouth stammer does not sound, the shadow does not seem to find someone looking at it, just glide over. The next time disappear, not see, only found on the eucalyptus has a black point like people. The next morning, as I thought, of course there was a death, the form was the same as last time, hanging from the top of the tree. The incident was reported by the commander. On that day there were many top-level officials from the top down, conducted investigations, however, seems also no clue what. All the students were afraid of fear, the children try to live trying to die in school now is also threatened to the funeral spirit, leave more than half. This incident also makes the commander extremely panic. At night it was as late as 9 o'clock. And the whistling siren signaled all of them to bed. This time he commanded himself to inspect the rooms, then saw enough troops to lock the door firmly. Make sure that no student can slip out, so that the person who is suspected of killing the other cannot do anything. If you have done to such a level, and still have the dead, the perpetrator, not the person, but the ghost is lost. I was scared, I was silent. But not for long. I brutally told the two of my classmates, Hung and Long. The two men who heard me said they were shaking their eyes. We talked together that night, the three of us would look out the window without the covers, to see if my words were real. In time, the radio's narrative still resonates, with three pairs of eyes staring intently through the corner of the window. Hung and Long were on the first floor. But this time, because they wanted to check my words, they both jumped on the second floor. The night was late, the air was colder. Hung and Long watched for a long time, saw nothing, was tired, determined to be sure that my eyes have problems to see such miscellaneous image. They are going to turn themselves off the window to go to sleep, as it is not at this time. The shadow that makes people feel the most disappointed about it, it appears clearly. Hung hung his eyes and exclaimed an hour. Immediately the shadow as it found out the sound, it turned one turn to look, his eyes red, horrified face, lightning flashing through the small door frame. Hungry face blue eyes, the room here its screams are dumb. Hung hastily blanket the blanket, until the flood surrounding the new woman lost her blanket quivering voice. Long, the nose has also cut off no drop of blood. I myself feel reassured, but no longer feel the same fear as the first. I tried to hide, but Hung did not do that. It was said that everyone, dragging Long found out and confirmed. Long also nodded not say anything. For me, both action and speech are not expressed. The next day, my whole class decided to cancel this training, decided to take another course, or otherwise went to military training elsewhere but decided not to go back to hiding. Hung from home after that talk less talk. A few years later, he did not understand what caused the food to eat less and less, from more than 70 pounds tall to burly, to just over 40 pounds of skinny skin. The whole family was fully cured but not can turn. A few months later Hung died. I went to burn incense for it that feel reassured. Am I an indirect assailant to kill Hung? If I did not let Hung see that scene, would it still be alive now? Was it because Hung had seen the face of the shadow on the top of the tree, causing it to reflect on the result as it is now? I do not know, not even dare to know. That day, only he could see it all, and now he was back at 9 great streams.